Yeah.
So we can, in fact, I think that reporter who isn't being so nice has had to do, I've seen him have to do many takes before, so. I'm going to start super simple.
Yeah.
Pastor, if you could just say your name in full and spell it for us.
Sure. Jonathan Schaeffer, Jonathan, Schaeffer, Schaeffer.
And you've been the pastor at Grace Church for how long now?
20 years here at Grace. Yeah.
And have lived here for how many years?
Yeah, well, I lived here the first, this is more informational, or am I supposed to be answering your questions again?
I was going to be informational, but actually,
I'll go ahead and say, yeah.
I'm going to ask that to you because I do think that that's interesting that you grew
Let
up
me
here.
say that then, yeah. I was born here right in this area, grew up from the time I was a day old in Middleburg Heights, was born at Southwest General Hospital, and so I lived here for the first 18 years of my life, left for 15 years, of college and grad school, and then came back in 1998. Been here ever since, and I love being in Middleburg Heights.
Something kept calling you back, right?
Yeah.
There must be a lot of nostalgia for you in Middleburg Heights.
Yeah.
Yet at the same time, you left for 15 years, so you've seen some change and some growth.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about your childhood that you still feel like Middleburg Heights captures that essence, yet also what type of growth have you seen?
I remember back in my childhood, I'm one of 9 children, I'm the 6th, and so we were a family that loved to be outdoors. And so we would take bike rides in the metro parks. We loved how the metro parks can run right through Middleburg Heights. And then City Hall, which has been dramatically improved. But even as a kid, we'd go up to the ball fields. I played Little League all the way growing up. And so the recreation areas, the metro parks, I had my first job at Southland Marks when Marks was the only Marks there, and so knew Mark Glassman personally, and so my first job, I look back and I go, that was even part of my growth and learning experience to figure out what does it look like to have a good work ethic, and that all started here in Middleburg Heights.
Now, being the pastor of a huge church, you certainly have a sense of what community is all about. How would you describe the community of Middleburg Heights?
Yeah. You can tell that people love being in Middleburg because a lot of people move here and they stay. Like they don't go, or if they go, they end up coming back. And so there's been this, I think, tight sense of community here that you see longtime people who you'll run into them in various stores or restaurants here in Middleburg. And now you meet them at the community center, which is an award-winning, just a great spot for people to gather and to connect. And so when I'm in the community, you see people who are friends, and I think the stability of leadership in our city, that we have the longest serving mayor in the state of Ohio. There's a sense of quality, whether it's the trees that are planted or the way that you just see sort of a theme, a motif running through our city with design, that it fits together. The city planning has been outstanding for a city like Middleburg Heights.
So that was perfect. You kind of already said that, but I'm going to ask you this question anyway. Since the beginning of time in our country's inception, we hear that phrase, separation of church and state, right? But in the city of Middleburg Heights, do you feel supported by your state?
Yeah. I think we have a great relationship between the city of Middleburg Heights and Grace Church, and we've said we want to be a positive, contributing neighbor to our community. And so whether it's a place for children to find community, for junior and senior high kids who are saying, man, we're going through the formative years of life to find a place to belong in our middle and high school groups here, or people going through crises that maybe they've gone through a divorce, a loss in the family, and they come here to divorce care, grief share, they're going through any number of things. We've found the city to be a good partner and a place that Grace Church has been able to say, if we can just add to our community, giving a lift, and so I think there's a synergy. We have city leadership who wants to bring lift to the city. You have the school district, you have churches, other houses of worship, businesses, and I think when we all work together, hand in hand, we say, we're going to make this a great place to live. And so if we've had just a small part in that, that's gratifying to us.
It's so perfect. That's everything.
Yeah, that was
right?
really good.
Is there anything else that you can think of?
I don't think so.
Every time I think of something else to ask, I'm like, then you answer it. That was perfect, really. Is there anything else that you can think of that you feel like you
I'll say
want
something
a
about our
message
future. How
on?
about?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. I think Middlebrook Heights has a bright future. Whether it's the new development of a library, we continue to make improvements. We're going the right direction. And I think the sense of vision and forward-looking, making this a business-friendly community, a place where people want to move to, we're positioned to be a city that doesn't just look to the past, but a city that looks ahead with anticipation to say, this is going to be a great place for years to come. And so I'm big on the futures for Middlebrook Heights, and I'm eager to see what is in store as we continue working together to make this a great place to live. How about a message to the mayor? Since you don't watch any footage here.
Sure.
Okay. Mayor Starr, it's great just to be able to speak to you even via video, to have your son Andrew here and Andrea. And I want to tell you, as I've told you on the phone and in text, that my wife and I continue to pray for you and your family on this Thanksgiving holiday. We're really grateful for you, for your leadership in our city. And while there may be naysayers and some bumps along the way, I'm grateful that we have a big God, and that our identity is not defined by what other people think about us, but really by what He thinks about us. And so I pray you'll find just tremendous peace and God's love for you. So I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Your son tells me he can demolish you in golf. He didn't really say that, I made that up. But I hope you have a wonderful holiday together. Thanks again for leading in our city.